Hello, my name's Anthony Williams and I'm going to use a design now for you, actually placed on this gorgeous little tray. So as usual we're going to be using the dry floral foam because we're going to be using the silk flowers here. I've got a lovely array of these pinks and lilacs. So we're going to cut this down and actually place it onto the board. So I've chamfered down the foam and just using some hot glue I'm going to actually a few little blobs onto the foam and then place that just in the corner of the tray that I'm going to be doing the design in. So now we have the foam fixed into the tray. I'm going to start with the base foliage. I'm using these gorgeous big leaves. I'm going to trim those down, place them into my foam. And now just to add some extra foliage in, I'm going to work with these, running them round and down into the actual base of the tray here. All the time, yes, I'm conscious of the design that's in the tray, so I'm going to be incorporating that into the arrangement as well. And then just with some of the smaller foliages here, again breaking it down so you can get much more out of it. You don't have to just use it as a solid piece. This way you get to use much more of it. So each time cutting it down on each stem gives you lots more to work with. One last section, I think, for now. On the stem, I've got the 3 flowers here. Now, they've graded them in height and size. I'm going to actually use them slightly differently, so I'm going to need to cut these down. So again, we trim them down, keeping an eye not throwing this away because we're going to use that later as well. I'm going to take these up. Now, I quite like using flowers as almost as nature intended, so I'm going to keep these in a bunch, quite tall, just the way that they would grow in the wild. That one a little shorter. So now adding the rest of the scabious in. So next I'm working with this little bunch of lavender. I've actually undone the bunch and there's lots of foliage and flowers in here that I can use into the arrangement. Just adding that to our little garden that we're building. There's extra foliage in here as well, which is marvellous. So we're just going to trim that down to place in almost feather-like across the fronts of these larger leaves, just to break down from the great volume that they have. And I'm going to fill in around the base of that with some of this wonderful dried moss. Wonderful product to use. It covers the floral foam really quickly and it gives that lovely natural look to your arrangements. I'm going to place this in and then use little pins just to make sure it stays in place. I'm going to use these actual little fritillaria flowers to actually hold the moss in place as well there. So I'm going to skewer through the moss and into the foam. Then, as a continuation through the design, just a couple more of the fritillaria on this side. That links all the way through the design. With this focal area at the front, and for that I'm going to use these little wicker spheres, little balls. All I'm going to do is add them onto a wire. So I'm passing the wire through the cage work of the ball, bending it round and twisting the wires together to give me those two little legs that are going to go into the foam. So I'm going to add those spheres here into the front of the design. And it brings all the colours together with this gorgeous cerise. And there we have our finished design on the tray. Our finished design on the tray. Of course, more designs can be seen on the countrybaskets.co.uk website or on their YouTube site.